are in for a treat.
Yeah, because I'm back.
Jackie's back, and it's still, is it Leo season still, Jack?
Yeah.
And so,
Oh my God, I haven't been on the podcast during Leo season at all.
yeah, it was Jackie's birthday. Oh, that's crazy. Because it's like the best time to have you as a Leo on the podcast.
Yeah, because I'm truly myself right now.
I'm so
excited to be, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go. You go. No,
I was just gonna say I'm so excited to be recording because I've been like, if anybody follows the podcast Instagram page closely, like there hasn't been a post in like probably 6 or 5 days, which is like so unlike us. Like normally I'm like every day, and if I'm not every day, it's just because we're out of content and I'm like but I'm still posting on the stories. But we're in like this weird situation where we didn't post last week. And then the week before that, we actually posted something that was kind of like a sneak peek to a bigger project we're doing. So it's not really something I can take clips from.
Yeah, it was a little rogue. Yeah.
Yes, I've been like so stagnant with content. I'm like, I don't have anything to post. So
no,
this is a formal apology to you guys because you guys know that like that's like a part of my job. And so I just want you guys to know that like I'm thinking about you guys every day. Like I'm not slacking.
She's not. And on my end, it's my fault. I am slacking.
Either. Like you're just being a human.
Yeah, I'm slacking on the podcast because there's like other shit going on, which we'll get into. There's a very funny, not funny story. But before we get into that, I was just telling Jackie that she asked me how my like coaching therapy session went this morning. And I was like, we need to start recording because I think it would be interesting to talk about on the podcast. But I'm doing these like coaching sessions that are like, they're a mixture between like therapy, life coaching, and basically that. Because everyone needs therapy.
Yeah.
But one of the things that has been like super interesting, and it actually came up today in the session was, and Jackie, we've talked about this before, but it was oh, look, I'm all over the place, but Jackie, do you have a ginger shot by chance?
I don't.
I'm going to take one and make you watch me take it. But
because I did have some, but I took my last one yesterday.
Oh, so something, Jackie, you and I have talked about this before, is syncing up your like life with your cycle and like trying to make conscious decisions of like what you're doing in your life or like planning based on like how you're feeling because of your hormones for women. And so we started talking about like not necessarily like we're not going to start planning around that yet, but I'm going to start notating like how I'm feeling. So like, if I'm feeling like energetic and I want to like super motivated in the gym, or if I'm feeling social, because if you guys watch the vlogs, one of my like goals is to like have fun and like have friends again.
Yeah.
And so like that's like something I'm talking with like this life coach about, of like how do I even have friends when I'm like trying to run a business and like support myself and all these things. So we've been talking a lot about all of the things, and another kind of feel, I'm not sure if this is like trendy or not. Jackie, you'll have to tell me if it's trendy, but I have seen on my feed, I don't know, in the last year, people talking about this like feminine energy type thing and like being able to like connect with your feminine energy. And like I would see this content, I'm like, okay, yeah, like I don't know, like you like get dressed up and like you look cute every once in a while, and like that's how I like thought about feminine energy. But recently I've been like, holy shit, I actually have not like truly tapped into my feminine energy in so long, because I've been like just doing all of these like strong, independent, like I've had like this strong like masculine energy. Mm-hmm. And that's like another thing we've been talking about, of like, no, you don't have to be strong all the time. Like you can chill and like be feminine.
Yeah,
Like,
or like you don't have to do everything either. Like I don't even know if it's like, I mean, it is like the tapping into feminine energy thing, but like the progressive part of me wants to say that's like not even the case. Like it's not even that. It's just like you don't need to be in charge of everything. Like you don't need to be like always footing the bill in a relationship. Like you always find yourself in those situations. But like I don't know. It's just like you don't you just like don't always need to be like handling everything. Like somebody else can handle something, you know?
yeah, and that's really hard for me because I like don't want to be a burden on anyone,
Yeah.
and like I know that I can take care of myself, but also like letting other people, and not necessarily just like relationships, but like friendships and um even like acquaintances, like it's okay to let people like also take care and like help.
Yeah.
um so yeah, I'm trying to like tap into that where, and I just like I didn't realize it until recently that
Yeah.
like I've been in this like state of like strong independent masculine energy, not in a like, I think it's confusing for people, like even for me, whatever, a month or two ago. Like it doesn't mean like masculine as far as like you're like acting like a boy. Like I
Yeah. Yeah.
still have like dressed up and like gotten cute and all those things, but like that doesn't mean feminine energy really.
Yeah.
Like, you know, am I
Yeah. Yeah.
explaining
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. I just think like really it's just like, yeah, like I guess like taking a back seat to like life a little bit and like not always like stressing that like you need to like get X, Y, and Z done. Even like, for example, like you didn't acknowledge it when I sent voice memos back being like, you're not doing this. But Zoe like sent me this voice memo about this like new business she's gonna start and like why it's gonna be easy. But like I'm like, no, like shut up. Like, no, you're like not starting that. Like it's just like even that stuff, like just realizing that you don't always need to be. I feel like for so long you've always felt like you always need to be like reinventing yourself or like doing something new to stay like what in your head you consider like successful, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That's not what you have to do. Like you can just have an agency that's like doing well and like a 9 to 5 that's doing well and like that just be what it is. But I mean it's a really good trait to always be wanting to like elevate and like do something else. But sometimes you can just like you also like I feel like Zoe, this will kind of like go in hand in hand with like the story that we're like really here today to tell you. But like it's like I feel like recently, like Zoe's really started to like live again a little. Like, and when I say live again, I just mean like not work on the weekends.
And nights. Well, like, yeah.
um, like that's what I say when she's like when I say she's starting to live. So it's like not even like she's doing anything nuts, but like she's just doing what the rest of us are doing. But like I just feel like even that like you're getting like the taste of that, and like it's so nice to like enjoy yourself when like you turn work off. But you can only have time to do that if like you're not constantly thinking of a new business to start.
Yeah. I don't know. I need to like, I still am like, I didn't respond to Jackie when she was like, no, you're not doing that. Because I'm like, yes, I am.
Yeah, well, she also gave me no information. Like, I don't even know like what this business is. I got like a hint of it based on who she was saying that could be involved. I'm like, oh, maybe it has to do with this. But like, I still don't have any details, so I just was like, no. And also, like, who you want to? We don't know enough about any of the people you want to go into business with. We need to know more about them.
And Jackie's also the one writing my legal contract. So she's like, what's going on so that I can like help? And I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
just
like, what's going on so that I can like tell you if I think it's like a good idea or a bad idea, please.
yeah, no, we'll chat about it. But yeah, so why there wasn't that, well, okay, so there's a rogue podcast floating around because, well, okay, well, let's start with that. I'm starting this series, and maybe we can multi-purpose this, Jackie, where we can clip here and put it, whatever. So I'm starting this series where I'm going through different sites on the front end. So like looking at their website and just like any information about them that a customer can see. And I'm auditing the front end customer journey of, you know, what's going on in the site. Is everything like clean and clear? Like, are there questions? Confused? A lot of times, like if there's confused consumers, they won't buy things. So it's like those things I'm looking at for brands and kind of just like auditing them and like giving a little feedback of like what I would do differently, all these things. So I did the part that and I was supposed to record like an intro and an outro for that. And well, I had a crazy day. Leading up to that week, I allowed myself to have a weekend without work. And so I was just kind of like unplugged from everything. A lot of times my weekends, I'm kind of like planning for my week. So I just felt kind of like off. It's this transition that I'm going to have to figure out how to like redo because yeah, not having that just like basically like it felt like it messed up my entire week of like being productive at all. And then it didn't help that on whatever it was either a Monday, I think it was a Monday night, because I remember you being like, well, you didn't record the thing, so I'm just gonna upload it how it is. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, you didn't record the intro or the outro. And it was definitely a Monday night because I was supposed to be in the office Tuesday.
Yeah. So I was staying at my friend's apartment in New York, and it's like an apartment house thing, and she told me like, make sure when you come and go, like lock the door behind you, because like you need to lock it, like it doesn't lock on its own, blah blah. But there was 2 doors. And I was it was like pretty late at night. I don't know. I can't remember what time I called you.
It had to have been, it was like midnight my time when I got called.
Okay. Yeah, so it was like,
why are they calling me right now?
Wait, was it? I don't know. It was late.
Or like 11:30. It wasn't any earlier than 11 for me.
Okay. So, well, I ran outside to do something and I locked myself out with nothing. I had
clothes on her back, literally.
The clothes on my back. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a wallet. And I had nothing. I had this little bitty crop top on and these booty shorts and shoes, Air Force Ones, no socks. No, I didn't even like, I know this is like a business podcast, but whatever. I didn't have a bra or underwear on.
I can't.
Thankfully, I had a friend near and was able to also, like, I don't have anyone's phone numbers memorized besides like my house phone, and like I'm not calling my landline house, like parents' house. No. So I went through Instagram on their phone and like tried to get in contact with Tulsi and Jackie. And it was so annoying because like their Instagram, you can't get through, like it goes into the hidden DMs.
Yeah, because you DM'd me off your friend's Instagram, but I wasn't friends with your friend, so it went to my hidden request. But I was also already sleeping, which actually is weird because I'm not normally, it was like the weird perfect storm because I'm also never, even if you'd called me at midnight, like usually I'm not like sound asleep yet. Like if my phone's ringing, I'll hear it kind of thing. Or like maybe I'll be on Instagram. I don't know. It just was weird. But luckily Tulsi is on Pacific time.
Yeah. And like first I tried to contact my friend who like has the apartment, because I'm like, how do I get back in? Like, does she have a neighbor? Can she like have a neighbor like come and get me back in or whatever? But I like couldn't get a hold of her. So I'm like, I need Tulsi and Jackie. Like they're my lifeline. I just need to find them and then they can help me. Because they're in like all my accounts and like they have like access to everything. And I was like, I just need them. And so I got a hold of Tulsi, called Tulsi. Then we were able to like 3-way call Jackie. And so me, Jackie, Tulsi are just like on the phone, like, how am I going to get, because I had like a full ass, I was supposed to go meet Fran from Hark at 8 a.m.
Yeah, I
for
saw
breakfast.
that next morning. I was like, oh, she literally has something going on right now.
No, yeah, and I had so much that I needed to do. Like, I'm such a busy person, like losing a couple hours of like time where I'm not planned to like go on vacation or like that I don't know. Like that was so stressful for me because I had so much shit to get done. Like it just like so much. But it ended up like Jackie like can figure out any, like Jackie is the best like problem solver I've ever met ever.
Dead.
You were asleep and then you were like, okay, but like let's find some mutuals. Like who can we like reach out to? Or what was your idea?
No, I think I was like, is this the friend who's from the birthright trip? Are there other people from the birthright trip?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then, yeah. So then I was like, oh, wait. Yeah. Like, okay. So I just started naming like all of these people that we went on our birthright trip to Israel together. And so like Jackie would look up on my Instagram, like in my friends, or how did you find?
Yeah. Well, who we ended up messaging, it's somebody who like, I think the reason like they saw my message quickly is because they happen to follow me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like seeing me and Zoe's content, they follow me. So when I message them, because our biggest fear was like, cool, we can message these people, but like if they're not following me, like my message is just going to go to their like requested messages. But we thought of this one person who happened to follow me, and so I was able to like actually message them, and they saw it right away.
Yeah, and it worked out because well, what we needed Emily's phone number. Like that's like what we needed because we needed to like call Emily until she answered, and we didn't have it. And it worked out because he lives in Israel, so it was like he was up because of the time change, and he like sent her number right away, and I was like, oh hell yeah! I still need to message him and say thank you, but
I told him he's a lifesaver. So
oh yeah. That was like, yeah, you were very resourceful. But then what ended up happening is we got her phone number and couldn't get a hold of her. So then my friend helped me. I got into an Uber. My friend helped me to get a hotel with like, he had to put like his name down, his card. He had to pay for everything. And then like, I ended up like Venmoing him later, but I couldn't even get a hotel because I didn't have an ID or like money or anything.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm like, okay, that's fine. I will get into the hotel and I'm like, I'll have the hotel phone. So I like wrote down, I got as many like phone numbers and I like wrote them down on a sticky note and I go up to the hotel room and like, it can only take inbound phone calls. Like I couldn't, if I needed to make a phone call, I had to go down to the lobby and call, like ask them if I could use the phone and call you guys.
Yeah. No, and it was literally so stressful because it was like I don't even know, like Zoe's just busy. So like, it's not like, and there was like there was a really important meeting. Zoe had a really important meeting the day after, like, so this happened Monday night, Tuesday. So we had like a really important meeting. And so there was just like, it wasn't like it was like a normal day where maybe like it was like more meeting, like less meeting heavy. So maybe Zoe could have been like, you know what, this sucks, but like I'm gonna have to just take the day off today. It was like Zoe was like, I need to work. So then it was like this. Oh my God, you guys should have seen the request Zoe was trying to like get. She's like, I need a new computer delivered. I need a phone. I need all these things. I'm like, oh my God. And I don't know why we finally Zoe was like, why don't I just get an iPad? And I'm like, why the frick didn't we think of that right away? Like, why wasn't that one of our first thoughts? We were like,
I don't know.
You go phone and a whole ass laptop. Like, why wasn't an iPad? Like,
no, I was like, Jackie, can you just, I was like, can you just send me a pay as you go phone, like a prepaid phone so that I can, but I wanted
on the delivery apps, you like can't, there's probably a reason, but you can't just like order a pay as you go phone. So I was like, well, I can't really do that. But Zoe couldn't like go to the store and just pick it up herself. It had to be something that was delivered. Oh my God, it was so stressful.
No, and you were like, what would you say? You're like, I don't know how pay as you go phones work. I'm not a murderer. I was like, Jackie, pay as you go phones are like for situations like this, I think. Like,
I just feel like murderers use them. But no, because you can get a pay-as-you-go phone, but you also have to buy like a debit, like a almost like a gift card looking thing that has the minutes on it. I know this because my dad always used to randomly get pay-as-you-go phones for some reason. He's not a murderer, but like I don't know. He just would always lose his phone. So then instead of like getting a whole new one, he'd be like, I'm just gonna get a pay-as-you-go phone.
Yeah.
So like you have to get the pay-as-you-go phone, and then you also have to get like this like gift card thing. But the apps wouldn't let me order like the gift card part. So I was like, I could ship you a pay-as-you-go phone, but you still need it. You'll need to go buy minutes, and in order to go buy minutes, you need a card.
Yeah. No, and so like the only way I could like gather thing or like get things was like if Jackie ordered them for me because she has like my business card and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I was just utilizing Jackie, and like we couldn't get a laptop delivered because you needed like a photo ID or something.
Yeah.
But so I think we had that stuck in our head where we're like, damn, like that's not going to work because I need an ID, but we didn't think about the iPad.
The laptop was the reason the laptop wasn't working was because every time I would try to order one, it was like, again, I couldn't do like the apps wouldn't let me do it. So for it to be delivered, it was going to be like a day, but it was like Zoe needed it right then. So we needed something that you could get on DoorDash, or what ended up coming in clutch was Target delivery.
Target same day delivery. Mm-hmm. That actually reminds me, my Target debit card is like floating around.
But yeah, we ended up, and then I was being crazy because I was like, Zoe, like, this isn't going to become like, you know, like I had to buy like an iPad, I had to buy all these clothes, which the clothes are fine. The clothes weren't that expensive. Like if Zoe ends up keeping the clothes, that's fine. And she liked what I ordered. But the iPad, I'm like, okay, we have when this whole debacle is over, like you already own an iPad, you already own a MacBook, you already own an iPhone. When this debacle is over, we need to return this iPad. We're not about to like just waste $500 for no reason.
No, that was me with that was me. Remember my phone broke, and I like was trying to live off my iPad, and then I was like, I can't do this, and so I got a work phone. Like that was like the whole work phone situation.
Yeah, but that made sense because like you can't live without a phone.
Yeah. And now we have Boss Phone that we like share with the 8. Like anyone who needs Boss Phone has Boss Phone.
But Boss Phone comes in handy because comes in handy with Turo.
Yeah, it's great. But then okay, Jackie came in clutch. I felt so bad because and then I tried. I was like, they have the little business center in this hotel, so I'll just go there and I'll sign into all my things and I'll work there. No, It doesn't work like that because you have two-factor authentication.
The two-factor. I'm going to kill two-factor.
It's very secure. It's almost too secure.
It's too secure because if you want to, they have to find a different way for it to, like some two-factors will say either like, I ran into some two-factors who like, it's like you can do, where you can do like, I don't know, something I've gotten into two-factors without it being
like it's an email confirmation instead of a phone. Yeah, no, I have everything set up to my phone. So the only app I was able to get into was Twitter, which was actually quite convenient because I like most of my people are on Twitter. And so I was able to like
Twitter.
Yep. So I was DMing. What'd you say?
We can like DM on Twitter. So it was like, I felt like I was texting you. Like it was.
Yeah. Except I was freezing cold.
Yeah. Then it was like I had already placed a clothing order. And then Zoe's like, actually, and I didn't get sweatpants or a sweatshirt because I don't know, it's the middle of summer. So he's like, I'm actually freezing. Could you throw a sweatshirt and some sweatpants into that order? Like it was the whole day. And like, I was supposed to be in the office. I messaged Zoe when everything got resolved. And I was like, I didn't want to stress you out, but I literally had like my one-on-one quarterly review meeting today and I did not go.
No, I literally owe you my life. I don't know how or like what I did to deserve this, but like you saved me and like I don't know what I would have done.
It wasn't even like Zoe, because if I had been like, because I mean Tulsi was around. If I had been like, Tulsi, you need to like figure this out. Like I have to go into the office. Like I totally could have done that. But it just felt like I had a personal stake in like figuring out the resolution to all of this. Like I was like, this needs to get resolved. Like, and then it was just like chaotic because then all of a sudden Emily was able to get us a key. Like it just it's so crazy.
It was so chaotic. But
Yeah.
the what I realized that day is that there is so much like that relies on me that I just can't, like, it's not just like I can just disappear one day. Like things crumble.
Well, I mean, that's what sucks about that's like the double-edged sword with like work-life balance. I feel like we're bringing it back around because that's how we started. But
Mhm.
that's the double-edged sword with it because you want to have a work-life balance, but also like even I felt that way that day. Like I was like, if I was not available, like this isn't a knock on Tulsi. It's just that Tulsi hasn't been working with us long enough. She doesn't know the ins and outs of you yet, who we could reach out to, whatever. I'm like, even if I was ghost that day, like it would have thrown a huge wrench in getting everything figured out. Like things wouldn't have gotten figured out as smoothly as they did and as quickly as they did if I wasn't around. And it makes you feel like you're like, no, this reminds me. This is why I actually can't ever just actually fully take a day off and like take a day off and be like non-reachable. Like,
Yeah, or like an unplanned, like shit happens. Like it would have been different if it was like a family emergency, or
yeah,
like that stuff is understandable, but like just to randomly like
yeah,
not be available when you're like planning on it, and like also just the fact that I'm like, no, like I'm here, like I physically can just sit down and work if I have the tools,
the
but
tools.
I just don't have anything.
I
It
know.
was such a crazy like it just makes you realize like life is just so weird, where it's just, I don't know, there's so many things, moving parts, and it we rely on technology and our phones, and just like everything is so connected with even just like having an ID. Like not having an ID,
It's such
it,
an issue.
it's such an issue. I almost at one point Jackie was like, absolutely not. At one point I was like, okay, how about like Tulsi grabs my passport from my room and flies to me and brings me boss phone, and then everything will be fine.
Yeah, I was like, no. Also, because flying from the West Coast to the East Coast is so hard. Like, there's only like red eye. So even if we had done that, it would have been like, okay, now she's not flying till tonight though. Like, it just was like, no, that's like not even solving our problem. We could get the keys quicker than doing all that crazy
Well, yeah,
stuff.
and then Emily was like, "You're gonna have to come up." She was like 4 hours away. She's like, "You're gonna have to like come here." And I'm like, "No, I can't do that. Like, that's a whole day. Like, no, I can't."
I was gonna ask. I didn't even know where she was.
She was like, she's at Bard, like 4 hours away, 3 or 4 hours away, and
Okay.
she's like, "There's a train. You can get on the train." And I'm like, "I don't, with no phone,
Yeah.
no money,
Yeah. No,
no underwear."
no. The thing that would have made the most sense if we didn't get the key was for her to overnight them. But
Yeah,
she
yeah.
like didn't overnight them right away because we were like, she was like, I think holding out hope that she could get us in a different way. And luckily it worked out that she could get us in a different way. But me and Zoe kept being like, well, hopefully the other way works because then we're just getting delayed on the overnight. It was so stressful, but everything worked out. But it was the craziest day.
Craziest. And then I yeah, I just like decided that it was just like such a crazy week. But that's one of the reasons why like we had like back to back no episodes, because things were just wild.
Yeah, it was like a wild couple weeks, but it was like I feel like so necessary. And like also we're really, I know I feel like we've said this before, but like Zoe also has like a lot of travel coming up in like September and stuff. And so we're going to like, be better about like banking. Even this, like the fact that we're recording this on a Monday morning and I don't have to like wait for it at like I'm only acknowledging this because I want people to know how hard we grind to get these episodes out on time. Like the fact that we went ghost for 1 week is like nothing. Like me and Zoe will literally like Zoe will record the podcast at like legit like 10 p.m. her time, which is midnight my time. But like that's already late for Zoe. She like does it after all the work she's done that day. We'll sit down, record, send it to me. Then it's like midnight my time. I'll like so then I'm like, okay, well, it's midnight. I'm like exhausted. So then I'll go to bed, but I'll like set my alarm to wake up at like 4 a.m. to like watch it through. Usually there's not a lot of edits, but you still whether there's a lot of edits or not, you still have to watch the whole thing through just to make sure there's not. So then I'll have to spend like the hour watching it, and then I'll have to like start the upload process. And then Tuesday's in an office day for me. So then it's like I'm also trying to get ready to go into the office. Like me and Zoe like grind to get these out on time. Not that anybody's like mad at us for not, I didn't hear one peep about it going out last week, but I just wanted to be clear.
Yeah, everyone's like, let's laugh about it. What's going on?
So hard to get them out on time. So we're also trying to, in the breadth of work-life balance, we're going to work on banking them so that we don't need to be like spending our late evenings, early mornings, like working on it.
Yeah, and we could look at the travel. So just a little sneak peek, not that anyone cares about my travel, but going to Philly and then to New York again, and then to Austin. And so the other like thing that we can try to do, especially because we've got a little bit of like leeway and like a lot of times Jackie could fucking kill me because sometimes I'll be like, it's the day of, and I'm like, I kind of feel like going to California right now. I feel like going to LA. And Jackie's like, okay, I guess that's like not a problem, but like
yeah, Zoe literally did it to me the other day. She didn't go me, but she like texted me like, would it be crazy if I just like went to so-and-so? And I was like, no, it's like not the craziest thing, but like, why? Like, what's the plan? I was like, no, you can, but like you literally like have to record a podcast before you get on any plane. Like,
yeah. But so if I don't like mess around and be like super spontaneous and like I'm like the little brat that I am, we could plan in the different cities to record with other like ecom CX people. So we can do that and like batch some content that way too. And like rent out some studios and stuff so that we just have like banked content. But I have just been very like spontaneous lately. So it's just been kind of hard for Jackie and Tulsi to like manage me.
Yeah. No, but it's like for how spontaneous things have been, we've still been pretty on top of stuff. There's one thing that I need from Zoe that I've been asking for like a week and a half, but one of these days she'll get it to me.
I'll do it.
The intro, please. But otherwise, like everything else is like, we're doing okay.
We're doing okay. Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, the podcast will always not on the back burner, but there's other things that we have to get out content wise that we're like tied to contracts for. And we want to make sure that we're always being like diligent and respectful of those things. The podcast is just kind of like us. So if we're going to let anybody down, unfortunately, it has to be the podcast. But
yeah, it's also
things.
The podcast. So as you guys might know, I used to have a podcast that was like very it was like serious but not serious kind of thing, but it had a lot of sponsors, and it put this like kind of, I mean, obviously we love a sponsor, and I'm very like, it's very important to me to have like very authentic sponsorships, and it does put this like kind of like stress on the podcast where it's like you have to do it for like because you need to uphold your sponsors. And for me, I love like the way the podcast has evolved because it's such like a passion project where if it makes money, that's cool. But like, I don't have like any intentions necessarily for it to make money. So it's nice because like if we need to skip a week, like it's no big deal because they'll only like, obviously we want to get content out for our listeners, but I also think that our listeners are very understanding, and then they'll like know where to go find some like Jackie Zoe content outside of the podcast. So yeah.
Yeah, there's always content in other places.
Yep. But yeah, so I'll have some in the newsletter. Actually, we'll probably have some updates on like the travel. because there's going to be some opportunities to like get together with probably some of the listeners too. So Philly, New York, Austin. Did I even say that? Austin? Yeah. Austin. And then shortly after that in October, we'll have LA. Right? Yeah, in October, LA. And some of the things will be very like public, get people together. So keep on the well, everything will be in the newsletter announcements and sign up forms and everything. So sign up for the newsletter in the show notes to see that stuff. But yeah. There's a couple different things we can chat through, Jack. There's like agency stuff. And honestly, like Jackie has been so freaking helpful for the agency. We've had like a couple shifts, which is like for a good reason. And being like more efficient and like figuring out our time. We can like talk about some of that if we want. Oh, okay. Big thing is agency. How old is the agency now? We're a year and a half old, like officially. And ever since the agency started, we've always done free audits. And what we've realized is that our audits, and we've kind of known this for a while, but I don't know. It's just like I've always wanted to do like free audits for people because again, I'm kind of like the worst. I'll always say this, like the worst business person because I'm more about like giving back rather than like making money, and then it like puts me into these weird situations and it drives.
The amount of times, side note to acknowledge that, the amount of times I'll just wake up to like a message from Zoe being like, sending this over, already approved them for this cost, whatever, and I'll literally like I'm dying inside because I'm like, oh my god, literally that costs us money. Like you just sent over like a potential client, but I'm already doing the math in my head and we're losing money.
Yeah.
Always like, we'll talk to somebody and be like, I want to help you within your budget. So like, we'll make it work. But me being like somebody who's looking at the finances every single day, I'm like, Zoe, you're killing me.
Yeah, no. And it's, I need to be better because,
good karma though.
It is good karma, but like, I don't think anyone ever like actually understands how much time and effort it takes to like do what we do. And so like I try my best to work around people's like what they want and then the outcome and like try to make it fit in their budget. But then like what they actually want, it takes so much more time. And I don't think people understand that, especially in like retention and customer experience, because it's not like a one-to-one like return on your investment necessarily. It's a very like long-term game of like, do you want a good brand image to like be able to have like long-term customers and like lifelong customers and stuff? That's like the long game. And so it's hard for people to like put a number to that. And so I'm not very good. I'm like, I can set the expectations, but then like the expectations always change. So then it doesn't fit in the budget. And then we end up just like the agency just like and puts a lot of money and like, yeah, it's just, I need to be better. We all need to be better. But yeah, so that's what kind of like has happening. But the free audits, we've just decided, like, I don't know if we'll do like one more round of like very last free audits, but I made a tweet and I said like, hey, well, would you guys, I'm thinking about starting to charge for my audits. Here's what I go over. And it was like over 25 replies saying like, you should absolutely be charging for this. So we need to figure out like
received an audit from us. I'm sure they can attest to the fact that like it's a crazy amount of free work, which it's been like so great. And like, it's like the whole reason we have the clients we have, they all started with the free audits. So like, you could really say that it's such a good use of time. But I just think for the amount of time that gets put into it and the resources that are provided through it, it's like, it is kind of like bonkers to keep doing it for free. But that's like with any business. Like there's every business has things that at one time they offer. I mean, think about like apps. Like at one time, half the apps that I have on my phone, like the features I use right now were once offered for free. And then they got enough subscribers that they were like, okay, we need to charge for these now. Like it happens with anything. So it's a normal course of business. But I think it's like hard for us to like accept that because we like don't want to charge for them. But it's just a part of like an evolving business. You like have to.
Yeah. And it's, sorry, Tulsi just got here. Can you hear Zoe barking?
For like 2 seconds.
Tulsi, could you let Zoe out the back door? Thank you. Yeah, so we're going to start charging for our audits, and actually right now we are like capped at clients, and like we can have conversations, but we like won't be able to really like onboard another client for about a month probably. We can like plan, but barely. We like barely have enough time to like plan. So we're in this like very good like turning point for the agency, but at the same time, like I still haven't figured out how to like make it profitable as far as like ever since I turned it from consulting into an agency, like I don't know if I've actually like paid myself out, which is fine, unless it was like you know, I don't know. It's just like it's hard to make. I don't know how to make it profitable. Like it's just like we have to charge more. But
yeah, I was gonna say I know how to make it profitable because I run the numbers like every week. We need to charge more, and we need to not have too many people on the team.
Yeah,
which our team size is great right now. I think what we need to do is say we were to get like a couple more clients. That doesn't mean we need to make, I feel like we've gone through this process of like, we get another client and we're like, we need to make another hire. But I think what we need to pivot in our thinking is just because we get another client doesn't mean we need to get another hire. Cause then that's why we keep cutting off these profit margins because then because we pay the max of what we can pay people. Like, it's not like we're underpaying people for what we're charging clients. So yeah, it's like, that's what we need to do to make it profitable. We just need to charge enough.
Yeah, no, we charge like barely anything for what we do. Like, but what's hard with customer experience is it touches every single part of the business. And so people are always wanting more, even on the like, even with like the projects that are agreed upon, they're like always wanting more. And so the time is just like capped and it's like, oh shoot, like, so it's definitely it's a good problem to have because like our biggest goal is to like make sure that we show results and like show good, like help businesses grow and get better. And so it's very like kind of like the podcast where it's like, for me, as long as I can pay my employees and make the clients happy, like I'll figure out how to pay myself later. But it just like feels good to be able to like make a positive impact on like customer experience in like the e-commerce world, and like everything else will work out how it's supposed to. But it's definitely a journey.
Yeah, no, it is. But yeah, whenever we like talk about the finances part, I always am doing that. Like if I'm talking to like Sierra about it or whatever, I'm always like interrupting and being like, oh no, there's no confusion about how we make our profit margins bigger. I know how to do it. Just nobody is listening to me. It's because like, like Zoe's like too nice and like, all this stuff. I'm like, no, like we're not confused. We know what we need to do.
Yeah, no. And I think I do, I have this, and actually it's one of the things I was talking about, circling back like to the beginning of my like life coaching and like therapy and stuff. I always think that like everything in my life is like no big deal, like, oh, like, yeah, like I do customer experience and retention, but like, yeah, I just like figured it out, but I forget that like the like knowledge I have and the way that I do customer experience and retention is like very, very different. And like honestly, I need to like embrace how good I am at it and like put a price behind that, because there's not many people who do it like we do.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. Like, yeah, we've got this. But what we do is like worth a lot of money. Like,
there's a reason people are looking for consulting services for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Need help doing it. And I don't know. Oh my God, I was talking to one of me and Zoe's like best friends the other day about something she was getting like a photographer for her wedding. And the price that she was paying this photographer for one day of work, also like editing the photos and stuff, but still really like one day of work and then like a day of editing, which is like amazing. And again, when I say this, I'm saying they should be charging this much, because the amount of teaching themselves that went behind them even being able to provide these services is what makes it cost this much. But the amount that they were charging for just that one service is literally more than we charge any of our clients for a full month of like being an internal team, basically. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. No. Crazy. Yeah, we definitely don't charge enough. So yeah, it's something that we'll have to adapt to. And it's exciting.
We're slowly but surely like getting better. But.
Yeah. So I feel like the end of 2024 is like really figuring out like how to make it profitable. Well, and I'm sorry, Jackie knows how to make it profitable. We just end of 2024 is listening to Jackie. And
I really do feel like I've seen so many changes, because in the last like 2 weeks, I feel like Sierra's been listening to me a lot, and it's like, who's like the director of operations at the agency. Which sometimes I feel like I almost am like assistant director of operations. It's kind of like what it's turned into what I'm doing, really. And like slowly in the last like 2 weeks, I feel like her and me have been like working so closely. We've always been working closely, but like really closely, and like having more honest conversations where like I'll literally tell her like, stop, that makes zero sense. And she'll be like, no, it does. Or she'll be like, it does make sense. And I'll be like, no, it doesn't. Like reread what you're saying. It doesn't make any sense.
More in the fact, and it always goes back to, we give too much to our clients for what they're paying. Like,
it's like our toxic trait that like I also love about us, because we should never tell the client no. We should never say we can't do something, but within reason. And we're starting to learn like it's really a boundary issue.
Mm-hmm.
Which goes back to everyone should go to therapy. Because I think it stems from probably personal issues with boundaries.
No, yeah. Because that's all we have to do is say like, it's just not in budget. We can do it, but it's going to take extra hours. So we can do it. But yeah,
let's modify the service agreement. Like, it doesn't need to be like, with your permission, can we modify the service agreement? No, they're asking for more work. Okay, cool. We'll draft up a new service agreement for you. That's how other people talk to me when I want to change my, you know what I mean? When I am using somebody else for services and I ask for more, they say, totally. Let me just.
Yeah. And I'm like, no big deal. Let me just do it for free. I'll do it on my weekend. Like, that's why I'm working on the weekends.
Yeah. No, we're done with it. I feel bad getting off of this, but I have a meeting at noon.
Okay. Guys, thank you for listening. We will talk to you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all those things. Do a rating if you haven't already, and we'll catch you next time.
Hopefully I'll be back more, because now that we're like batching out.
Yeah, buddy.